Okay, let's dive into something pretty fundamental, really. It impacts, well, pretty much everything we do physically.
Right.
Think about what you put into your body. It doesn't just, vanish. It's fuel.
Exactly. It's the core energy source.
And that fuel has this profound impact on what you can actually get out of your body, especially when we talk training or just being active.
Absolutely. And that connection is what this deep dive is all about. We're calling it fuel the burn.
Fuel the burn. I like it.
Yeah, we're looking at how the food we eat, the main nutrients in it, macronutrients, and staying hydrated, how all that links directly to performance and recovery, too.
And we've got some interesting source material here. It's from a text that really breaks down the science behind fueling your body effectively. So our mission really is to unpack that, pull out the key bits, make it useful for you listening, whether you're, a serious athlete just hitting the gym or honestly just want more energy day to day.
And it really boils down to understanding the basics. So you can make, well, smarter choices about what you eat and drink.
Okay, so where do we even start? How does food become, usable energy?
Right. Well, it all kicks off with metabolism. That's the amazing process inside us that converts food and drink into energy our cells can actually use.
Okay.
Metabolism. And the main players, the primary sources of this energy, are what we call macronutrients.
Macronutrients, yeah, I hear that term thrown around a lot. What exactly does it mean? Why are they the big deal?
Think of them as the big three: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats.
The big three. Okay.
They're macro because we need them in fairly large amounts. They give us the energy for, well, everything: living, moving, training, and they support all those vital bodily functions.
All right, let's break those down then. Carbs first. They seem like the go-to for energy, right?
They often are, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for higher intensity stuff. When you eat carbs, your body breaks them down into glucose,
The glucose.
which is basically like instant access fuel. Muscles love it. Your brain loves it. It's quick energy.
And protein. We always associate protein with muscles.
And for good reason. Protein's main gig is building and repair. It's essential for, creating and fixing tissues all over your body, including those muscle fibers you work during exercise.
So post-workout protein is actually important, though.
Oh, definitely. That's why people emphasize it. Getting protein in after you train helps kickstart that whole recovery and rebuilding voice. Super important.
Okay, what about the third one? Fats. They sometimes get a bad rap, but they're a macronutrient, too.
And a vital one. Seriously. Fats are a really concentrated energy source.
Yeah.
Especially good for lower intensity, longer stuff. Think endurance activities.
Ah.
Plus, they do way more than just provide energy. They help with hormone production, absorbing certain vitamins. They're definitely not just, stored energy to avoid.
So it really sounds like you need all three. It's not about picking a favorite.
That's exactly it. Balance is key. The material really stresses that. Getting a good mix of carbs, proteins, and fats throughout your day. That's the foundation.
For what exactly? Sustained energy.
Sustained energy, recovering properly between workouts, and just overall physical health.
Yeah.
It's bigger than just the gym session, It's about feeling good consistently.
And the text mentioned a kind of simple way to start thinking about this for your own meals.
Yeah, just picturing your plate. Like if you've got grilled chicken, some brown rice, maybe a bit of avocado.
Okay.
You can easily see, okay, chicken's the protein, rice is the carbs, avocado's bringing the healthy fats. It's just a way to start noticing the components. Build that awareness.
That's a great tip. You listening right now, think about your last meal. Can you kind of see where the protein, carb, fats came from? Just noticing is like step one.
It really is. That mindfulness makes a difference.
Okay, so we've covered the food side, the macros. Let's shift gears to something equally crucial, maybe even more critical in the short term, but often gets pushed aside. Hydration.
Ah, yes. Water. So important.
What role does just plain water play in how we perform?
Oh, it's absolutely non-negotiable for performing at your best. Water does so much. It regulates your body temperature, keeps your joints lubricated, which is vital when you're moving.
Right.
And it's like the delivery truck,
Yeah.
transporting nutrients all around your body.
And the flip side, if you're not hydrated enough.
You'll feel it pretty quickly, usually. Dehydration just tanks your performance.
Yeah.
You get tired faster, muscle cramps are more likely.
Oh, cramps.
Yeah. And everything just feels harder. Your ability to perform drops significantly.
So what are the practical tips from the material? How much, when?
The general advice is be proactive. Drink water before you start exercising. Keep sipping during. And definitely replenish afterwards.
Okay.
And if you're going long or it's really intense, especially if you're sweating buckets,
Yeah.
then thinking about electrolytes becomes important too. They help keep that fluid balance right.
Electrolytes.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the minerals like sodium, potassium. Yeah.
Exactly. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. They carry an electrical charge. They're essential for, like, nerve signals, muscle contractions.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and hydration, blood pressure regulation. When you sweat heavily, you lose those electrolytes, not just water. So replacing them can be key.
And the material gave a couple of simple ways you can kind of check your own hydration levels.
Yeah, easy ones. One is just looking at your urine color. Pale yellow, you're probably doing okay. If it's darker, like apple juice, that's a sign you need to drink more.
Simple enough.
The other, if you're more data-driven, is weighing yourself before and after a workout. Losing a significant amount of weight, that's fluid loss you need to replace.
Interesting. Simple checks, but effective for tuning in.
Totally. Just paying attention to those body signals is huge.
All right, so we've got the what macros and water. Now let's talk when. The timing of your nutrition around workouts seems to be a pretty big point in the source.
It definitely is. Being strategic about when you eat can really impact your energy levels during the workout and, maybe more importantly, how well you recover after, which sets you up for the next session.
So what are the general guidelines on timing? Pre-workout, for instance.
The suggestion is to aim for a meal that's rich in carbohydrates with some moderate protein, maybe about 2 to 3 hours before you exercise.
2 to 3 hours, why so long?
It gives your body time to digest, so that energy is actually available when your muscles start demanding it, rather than still sitting in your stomach.
Makes sense. And after you finish, what's the deal there?
That post-workout window is pretty crucial for kicking off recovery. The idea is to get in a mix of carbs and protein fairly soon after finishing, ideally within, say, 30 minutes or so.
Why that combo, carbs and protein?
The carbs help replenish your body's stored energy that's called glycogen. And the protein gives your muscles the building blocks they need to start repairing the micro damage from the workout.
Ah, glycogen. That's the stored glucose we talked about earlier.
Exactly that. It's your readily available fuel tank in your muscles and liver. Getting those stores topped back up quickly helps you bounce back faster for whatever's next.
And the material actually gave some concrete meal examples, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Like for pre-workout, maybe something like oatmeal with a banana and a scoop of protein powder. Hits those carbs and protein nicely.
Okay.
And post-workout, an example was grilled salmon with quinoa and some steamed veggies. Good protein, good carbs, nutrients.
Those examples really help make it real. And there was a suggestion, too, about trying it out yourself.
Yeah, basically plan your meals around your workouts for, say, a week. And just notice how you feel. How's your energy, your recovery? Different foods and timings might work slightly differently for you.
That personal experimentation seems key.
It really is. There's no single perfect answer for everyone.
Okay, moving on. Supplements. They are absolutely everywhere in the fitness world. What's the take on them from this material?
Well, the perspective seems to be that they can play a role, a supportive role, especially if your diet has gaps or you have specific needs that are tough to meet just with food.
Like what kind of supplements are mentioned?
The common ones come up. Protein powders, obviously, for helping with muscle repair and growth, particularly if getting enough protein from meals is a struggle.
Right.
Creatine gets mentioned, too, for its link to boosting strength and power output. And BCAA's branched-chain amino acids, sometimes used to help with muscle recovery.
But there's a big but, isn't there? A major caveat.
Oh, absolutely crucial. The text is really clear on this. Supplements are meant to complement a balanced diet. They supplement it. They do not replace whole foods.
So, food first.
Food first, absolutely. Whole foods give you this huge range of vitamins, minerals, fiber, other beneficial compounds that you just don't get from an isolated supplement.
And the definition provided helps frame that. Products taken orally containing dietary ingredients intended to supplement the diet. Vitamins, minerals, herbs, amino acids.
Exactly. Knowing that definition helps keep their role in perspective. They're additions, not the main event.
And it suggests really thinking about whether you need one. Could you get the same benefit just by tweaking your diet?
Yeah, it's a good question to ask yourself. Before spending money on pills or powders, can I get this from food?
Good point. Okay, lastly, let's tackle some confusion. The sources bring up a few common myths floating around about nutrition and performance.
Yeah, good idea. Let's clear some of that up. One big one is the old carbs make you fat idea.
Right, which is simplistic at best.
Totally. The material makes the point that weight gain comes down to overall calorie balance. taking in more calories than you burn consistently. It doesn't matter so much if those excess calories are from carbs, protein, or fat.
So carbs themselves aren't the enemy, it's just excess calories overall.
Exactly. Blaming one whole macronutrient group is missing the bigger picture.
Okay, what's another myth?
The anabolic window. The idea that you have to slam a protein shake like the second you finish your last rep or you've missed your chance.
Yeah, I've heard that. Intense pressure.
Right. But while getting nutrients in relatively soon after exercise is good for recovery, the research suggests that super narrow, immediate window isn't quite as strict as we used to think.
So there's a bit more flexibility.
Seems so. The material suggests the window is broader. Timely nutrition helps, yes, but you probably don't need to panic if you can't eat for an hour or so.
Good to know. And the last one, more protein equals more muscle. Just shovel it in.
Huh. If only. It's a common thought, but just eating tons of extra protein doesn't magically build muscle on its own.
What's missing?
The stimulus. You need the actual resistance training, lifting weights, body weight exercises, whatever, to signal to your body, hey, we need to build muscle here. The protein provides the materials, like bricks.
Okay.
But the training is the builder telling your body where to put those bricks and build the wall. You need both. Excess protein without the right training signal doesn't do much for muscle growth.
That's a really clear analogy. Love that. Okay, let's try and wrap this up. Quick recap. What are the big takeaways here?
Well, we really hit the core stuff. Understanding that energy comes from metabolizing those macronutrients, carbs, proteins, fats. Each one has a unique and vital job.
Yep. And we hammered home hydration, how critical water is for, well, everything, and simple ways to check if you're getting enough.
Then we looked at timing, how being a bit strategic about when you eat your macros can boost performance and speed up that all-important recovery.
Right. And supplements, they can have a place as support, but they absolutely don't replace a solid diet built on whole foods.
Food first, always. And finally, we busted a few persistent myths that can kind of lead people astray.
So for you listening, what's the bottom line? I think it really highlights that thinking about how you fuel your body isn't just some extra thing. It's actually central to hitting your physical goals, whatever they might be.
Yeah, it shifts your mindset from just, eating whatever to consciously fueling for what you want your body to do. Seeing food and drink as tools, almost.
Exactly. And maybe here's a final thought to chew on, something that comes right out of this material. Think about the power of just being more aware.
Mm-hmm.
Just by paying a little more attention to what you're putting in your body and when you're doing it. How might that awareness, just by itself, be the most important first step? The first step towards optimizing how you perform, how you recover, and honestly, just how you feel every day.
Yeah.
How could even small tweaks based on that awareness start making a real difference for you?
It starts with noticing.
Yeah.
Right. Then you can build from there. Small changes add up.
Definitely something to think about. Until our next deep dive.